Getting your life back on track. Who's really defining getting your life back on track? Yeah, of course we have that voice in our head that tells us maybe we need to get our shit together, right? That maybe we shouldn't just let things go. Maybe we should actually start taking control of those things in life that matter, taking responsibility. You know, these thoughts, they go through my head, and I wonder if I'm on the right path. I wonder if the path that I'm on is something that's sustainable. And a lot of different times you feel like you want to be in a better place. You feel like you always want to be moving forward, and life doesn't really offer you that opportunity. Life sometimes likes to knock you down, and a lot of times you have to get back up and continue to strive, right? Sometimes the life even resets that button, right? Sometimes life will reset the button, have to start all over, and you have to pull yourself back up. But sometimes it can be extremely hard. And a lot of times, you know, we may look to other things that don't allow us to focus on those goals, right? We may lose motivation, we may lose all these different things and not allow ourselves to essentially pull us off track from where we were. Life will derail us. We have to be ready to get back on track when that happens. That's not saying that, you know, you can't focus on those things at that particular moment. You give yourself time. You allow yourself to absorb that, because a lot of times whenever life knocks you off course, you can really have a big change in perspective, enough so that you find the motivation that you need to go after those things that you want, or perhaps maybe even obtain some of those things that you lost. The biggest thing I've found is to go into this mindset that everything is in abundance. That just because you lose one thing doesn't mean you'll get something similar or better later. So when you're getting your life back on track, who is defining that? Are you defining that? Am I defining that? Who's to say what way life needs to be? No one can tell me how my life is going to be. No one can tell you how your life is going to be. You are in complete control of your life, and your life is a direct reflection of that. I've always felt that when I am trying to get my life back on track, especially whether it be a divorce, a death, whatever the thing, whatever it is, it hasn't been easy. It's never easy, but a lot of times you'll have to pick yourself up. You'll have to realize, okay, hey, I've given myself enough time. I need to start moving forward here. How do I do that? And come up with a plan. How am I going to do that? What do I ultimately see? Are those previous goals before that I had, or are those something I really want to continue going down? Maybe you don't even have any kind of specific achievements before, but now you've had a change in perspective. It's now you're really focused. Or maybe you just feel like you've been out of it too long and you don't know how to get back on track. And a lot of times what I find here is to find something that is positive in your life. Incorporate something positive into your life when you get thrown off track. And a lot of times you feel guilty almost, not allowing yourself to give yourself that time, or maybe you feel like you're not being respectful for whatever reason. But the biggest thing is at this point, when you feel off track, you have to feel some sense of greed almost. Be greedy for yourself and look after yourself, take care of yourself. Because if you can't do that and you start trying to get back on track, you realize that you're just doing it to go through the motions. That during that time that you got derailed, you know, there's a purpose you got derailed, whatever it is. If there was an event in your life that occurred and it led you down this way, so you've been derailed. So the biggest thing here is to find that positive thing for yourself. Be greedy, find it. Once you find it, then you can get yourself back on track. Because you have that thing, you have that other thing that's keeping you a more positive person, that's keeping you going on this track instead of feeling like you have to get back on track to please everybody else. Because ultimately, people may point and say, man, well, that person's been off track for a long time, but they need to get their stuff together. And it's easier to point and say, that person needs to get back on track, or that person needs to get their life together. But it's a lot harder to do, especially because we all deal with stuff in a different way. And for myself, I give myself time, and a lot of times I will continue to push myself and try to get back on track. And a lot of times when you do that, when you rush to get back on track, a lot of times you're just going through the motions, and you can be easily derailed further down the line, especially if you don't have something that is more positive in your life that can pull you back in and essentially change the direction of your track to something that can keep you on that track. And no matter what happens in life, there's always different things in life that are unforeseen and that will happen whether you want them to or not. And it can be completely out of left field and essentially pull you completely off guard. But you have to have that one thing, being, some kind of something that you can essentially call yourself, right? Something that can bring hope, bring happiness into your life. And I'm not saying that you have to go out and buy something. I'm not saying that you have to go start a relationship for this. It has to be something essentially for yourself, whether that's getting your health in shape, right? Being a healthy person again, being, putting your health as number one over everything else, or, putting your finances, right? Making sure your finances are in order, making that a priority, whatever it is that you feel will bring you joy and happiness in life, focus on that. Maybe not so much money, but you really want to focus on something that is a more positive outlet for you. Maybe it's, picking up tennis or picking up something else, drawing or something like that. It's just something that will essentially be a positive influence in your life. You want it to be something that, you're not relying on somebody. It has to be something that's yours, right? That you can build yourself, something that you enjoy doing, and find this thing and allow yourself to keep growing. And that's why I do Discover Ignite. That's why I, keep my health in check, because those are positive things that have helped me push me through, this derailment and get me aligned, get me back on track, those things that really matter. And a lot of times when you're derailed, you forget about the basic things, the basic components that keep you going. And a lot of times we look for an outlet of some other type, and sometimes we choose those negative outlets and they really derail us, and then we have a longer ways to get back onto track. And whatever, however we define that track and that destination. And that's ultimately what it is making sure that you know where that destination is, that you know where you're trying to get, and not that you're just on this track and on this destination because somebody else told you that's what you need to be doing, because that's ultimately not what you want to be doing. You want to be doing it strictly for yourself. And you have to be greedy, because if you're not, no one else is going to look out for you. No one else is coming. You have to do this for yourself. And then when, relationships and all those other things come into your life, you don't essentially, try to be, an energy sucker or a life sucker in the fact that, you're taking away other people's energy because you can't find what keeps you going. And if you have that already established, then people will admire that, right? People will be influenced by that and seek to find those things in their life that they truly enjoy. So this is ultimately what you want to do, is to, again, find those things, find your destination, and know what track you're getting back on. Maybe you got derailed because you didn't enjoy that track. Maybe you got derailed because, your parents or society has told you have to go on that specific track, so you went on that track. And it wasn't where you saw yourself, and wasn't where you wanted to be. And so you got derailed by other things that essentially pulled you off of whatever track, whatever destination you are trying to go, whatever success means to you in life. So if this has helped you, remember to hit that like button on the way out. Until next time, I will see you guys later.